Hey, I should be live. Can anybody hear me? Okay, I think I'm live now, so I will get us started. Howdy, folks. My name is Amol Vaidya. I am also known as Big Edie on some parts of IRC and some other parts of the internet. And today we are going to be working on the rare words package. This is going to be a package that looks at your Emacs buffer and identifies the rare words in there. I kind of apologize for sort of the weird angle of the camera and everything. I'm still trying to figure out how to get this whole streaming setup going right. And I'm sure you guys will see the green screen behind me from time to time, but we're going to make do. We're going to try and we're going to get started. So the basic idea of this is to find a list of the most common words in the English language and filter your Emacs buffer or match your Emacs buffer against them. And any word that doesn't match one of them is going to be considered a rare word. And the reason I kind of wanted to do this is I don't know if you guys use Grammarly much, but um, if you go to Grammarly, it has this sort of feature where can you not use it without signing in? Huh. Well, it's got this feature where it tells you how many rare words you use, like compared to other people, and it's always been pretty enigmatic to me. It doesn't tell me which one is a rare word. It doesn't tell me which one's not a rare word. It just tells me that I use fewer rare words than most people, and I've always been puzzled by that. So I kind of wanted to see what words were actually considered rare words in my writing. Um, Grammarly uses the first 5,000 most frequent words in the English language as common words, and everything else is rare. So I was going to try to approximate that. I don't know where they come up with their common words list. So I went out and I found one. There is this site called frequencylist.com, and it will literally give you the most common words in the English language and sort of the inflections that go along with it, sort of the other forms of the word. So the most common word, the English language is be, and its inflections are am, are, been, all meaning the same thing, just having a slightly different form, or having slightly different usage rather. So there's a way to download this list, and we can do that by using the download the list button at the top. So I'm going to grab the URL here, and we are going to fire up Emacs. It's not Emacs, that's Q, just Emacs. And we are going to get into eShell and download it. So we'll make a directory called rare words and download this. Oh, I guess it's not there. So let's go back to Qt browser. Sorry, I've got Emacs and Emacs going here, and it's kind of a pain. So, okay. I need my main. I need to open up Qt browser. Get the. Not sure why it's empty. Try that again. There's a biggie. Access restrictions. Already having problems, folks. There we go. So we'll unzip this file. When we do it, we get these different files that have the same list, just in different formats. So we're going to use this XLSX format just because it's sort of easy to work with for me. So I will open it up and show you guys what it looks like in Libre Writer, or Libre Calc rather. And so you have this tab down here called the frequency list, and this is what it is, and this is where we're going to get all the different inflections and stuff from. And the idea is going to be, we're going to put all of these, well, we're going to get a dictionary of all the words in the English language. So when we're looking at like a buffer and we run across like a made up word or just a string of characters that isn't necessarily representing a word, we don't want to mark that. So we're going to get a list of all the words in the English language and match against that, but also have the ranking of how frequent that word is in the database as well. So we're going to make a SQLite database out of that. But to start with, let's go ahead and just download this, or let's go ahead and see how we can parse this Excel file. So just since we are using Excel, I think probably the easiest way to do this would just be in Python, because it's got some kind of nice Excel libraries that let you work with it. We will say rare words parse.py, all that. Good enough. Change to Python mode. And let's see if we can load it up. We'll say load import pandas as PD. We'll use pandas to read that file. So we will say df equals pd.read. Oops. Need to be up here. Read Excel. And I think it is called frequency list.xlsx. And the sheet name was the list, frequency list. And let's see if we can load that. Oh, used the wrong command there. So let's see if it actually loaded. Let's look at the head of this. And it seems like it did. So we have the lemma, the root form of the word, and all the inflections over there. So that's kind of nice. Let's go ahead and sort of fix up the columns a little bit. As you can see up here, right? Like columns aren't really named correctly. So just to make it easier to work with, we'll fix that up. Say df.rename columns equals frequency list as the first one. The second one we'll just call it POS. Is that right? No, sorry, that should be lemma. Next one is going to be POS. And the last one is going to be called inflections. So let's send that and see if that keep even the Lisp version of the command. Let's see if that actually did it. And it looks like it did. Now we do have this this top row that we don't need. Oh no, it didn't actually. Oh, because I didn't actually set it to that. So we'll say df equals that. And now if we look at the head, now it looks like it actually did do what it was supposed to do. It renamed the columns. And if you look at the first row of our data frame, it's this thing here, right? So we don't really need that. That's just the column names. We'll go ahead and drop that. Let's make sure it worked. Did not seem to work. Hmm. Oh, I'm a little confused as to why that didn't work. Okay. Ah, there we go. Yeah, sorry. I forgot I need a comma there. So now it should be what we expect. Yep. And then what do we want to do? Hmm. Let's do this. Let's create a frequency data frame of lemmas. So see what that does here. Hmm. Um, sum the frequencies of all the lemmas, just in case there are. So when I looked at this list earlier, sometimes there were lemmas that could be different parts, like they were the same word, but they could serve as a noun or a verb, and so they were listed as um, two different two different entries in the list. And so what we're doing is we're trying to make them a single entry, and The way we're doing it is we're just summing up the frequency. So if you have be as a verb in a noun, for example, which it's not, I know, but let's just say you would sum the frequency of the verb version of the word and the noun version of the word. And so that's sort of what we're trying to get at now. So let's just see here. We don't want that part. Just need this. Mm. So it seems like that's doing what it's supposed to be doing, because apostrophe S is a lemma and 911 is a lemma. So that's kind of amusing. But let's go ahead and assume that's doing what it's supposed to. Instead of calling these lemma and frequency, let's call the frequency the summed frequency. So we'll do rename. And let's see if that works. And it does, so that's kind of nice. And then we'll go ahead and sort values by the frequency. That way, it kind of makes a little bit more sense um, rather than by alphabetically. Go ahead and maybe break this up. Let's see if that works. Yeah, we got B and I, which were the top two. If you look at bf.head, those were the top two. So it looks like we're getting what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and run this whole thing. And let's just make sure that it looks like it's supposed to. I don't think it does. So that's kind of nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and add a rank. Let's add a rank column, because that doesn't yeah, the way the indices are, it looks like it's by the way it was initially ordered, this lemma frequency data frame. So let's go ahead and add a rank column. Got to stop doing that. And what am I doing? Sending false. Let's see what that looks like. And I think that first index is B. Yeah, B is at 424. The I is 37. Yeah, that looks like it's doing what it's supposed to. We'll make it as an integer. We don't want it to be a float. So I think we can go ahead and run this. we've got a rank column now. And just in case, so I think the way we're going to compare the words with our buffers words is we'll make everything lowercase, just so we don't run into issues there. So I'm going to go ahead and take all the lemmas and make them lowercase. So we'll say lemma frequency df lemma equals lemma frequency df lemma dot str dot lower. Go ahead and run that. And I don't think we'll see much of a difference here, but I do think that probably worked. Look at a few more. Yeah, I mean, everything seems lowercase, so I'm going to assume it worked. And then I think probably what I want to do here is to go back and look at our data frame, the main data frame. I think what I want to do is take every inflection and give it the same frequency that the root has in the lemma frequency data frame. So I think that's what we'll try to do. There's like an explode, like an explode function we could use. So what happens if we say df dot explode inflections? It doesn't seem like it did anything. Yeah. Let me read that again. Transform each element of a list like to a row, replacing index values. Is there a example? So I guess what I need to do is actually make that into a list rather than trying to use commas. Okay, so let's do this. Let's try this. Instead of doing df.explode inflections, let's try df.inflections .str.split on what, comma space. That gets me a list. And then what if I do dot explode now? Wait, how did you do that? And do explode. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to the documentation here. Mhm. Comps OG40. I just recently started using Python and Pandas for extracting data from Excel spreadsheets, so this part alone is super interesting. I was using Excel formulas previously, like a Neanderthal. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I think Pandas can be really nice to kind of parse Excel spreadsheets and do some things with them. I use it at the job. Obviously, Explode is something I don't work with very often, but we'll figure it out. Sorry. So, okay, so up here, A is a list. And if we do df.explode A, so we want a data frame. So we want the data frame itself to have lists. Okay. So we need to we use assign. Is assign a thing? Vaguely remember doing something like this. Compare to another, not compare. Assigns new columns to a data frame. Okay. So we'll say df.explode. Let's do df.assign. Let's say inflections. Yeah, we'll say df.assign inflections. So it was comma space. Hmm. Oh, hey, Glenneth. Um, glad to see somebody's following. So glad that it's been useful to you. You have any ideas? So I mean, you can probably tell what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to make make a rope or inflection. So any ideas on what I'm doing wrong here? right, we got to figure this part out. Hmm. Explode. Transform each element to a list like row. Um, okay. What does this do? Okay, yeah, we get, okay. Now we have the list that we were wanting. So what if we try to explode it now? Yeah, that seems like it did. That seems like it did what we were trying to do. Um, that's exciting. Cool. So let's go ahead and make that permanent. Sorry, I don't want that in the frequency data frame. We'll create a new data frame. Um, yeah, we've got what we want, I think, at that point. And each one is indeed assigned the frequency that I want it to have. Wait, no, it's not, because it's assigned the original frequency. I need to assign it the frequency of the lemma and lemma frequency df. So let's do that. I think before we do that, just to be sure this is going to work, we'll make everything lowercase. Data frame. Oh, forgot to add inflections here. Close the string. And did it work? Yeah, I think it worked. Okay. And then I think probably the next thing we need to do in this data frame is to any duplicates we have, we want to drop. We want only a single. We want only a single. We want every inflection to only be in there a single time, even if it's associated with a different lemma. So I think what we'll do here is we will just we'll take the lemma, the most frequently used lemma an inflection is associated with, and give it that frequency. So let's go ahead and drop duplicates. Yeah. Let's see what this does real quick, actually. So it takes out about 15 columns. Oh, but we only want to drop duplicates on, let's see if it, let's see if we can drop duplicates on lemma and inflection, because we don't want to use the whole. If we do this, what did that give us? What am I doing wrong here? Oh, the inflections. Okay, yeah, that's better. I think let's start with that. We'll drop duplicates on lemma and inflection. Inflections. Gotta stop hitting Control X, Control E. I'm going to have it inherit the frequency of the lemma. So each inflection is going to have the frequency of its of the most frequent lemma that it could be associated with. And then now that we have that, what if we just drop on inflections? Curious. 10,620, 10,737. I think let's just drop inflections. I think that's probably the way you want to do it. Yeah, 10,620. That's what it should have. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I think that's what we want. Now that we have that, we can create a new data frame that takes each inflection and inherits the frequency of the most frequent associated lemma. So we'll say forms rank df equals lemma forms df dot loc lemma forms df inflections str dot lower. No, sorry. We want to merge it here. Yeah. So we'll merge the frequency data frame with the forms data frame. Yeah, we'll do a left. Let's look at what that looks like here. Wait, why is rank a float. Well, odd. Wasn't expecting rank to be a float. Hmm. Hey Glenn, could you let me know? I mean, is the size, the font size and everything, the sound and everything, is that sound okay? Anyway, I think what we can do is just keep the inflections and the rank. We do it like this. We can fix that. Let's fix that real quick. Do hack 18. Let me know if that's a little bit better. Yeah, let's just do that. That's all we really need. We just need inflections and we need rank. And let's see that that actually looked like we want. And just as a, oh, this is not good. Why is that in a, it was 2. Oh, I think the lemmas need to be, did I ever make the lemmas lowercase? I think the lemmas need to be lowercase. Um, no, I did. But I never did it on the lemma forms deal. Okay. Okay. And now the lemma is lowercase. So let's see if you know what, let's just I don't want to mess anything up, so let's just eval buffer. Okay. Symbols value as variable is void import. A little confusing. Oh, sorry. I'm using the using Lisp. I'm going back to Lisp. Okay, let's look at the forms rank BF now. And okay, that fixed it. That's good. Yeah. Anyway, what were you looking at before we ran into that? We were trying to see if this was sensible. So I just wanted to look at some of the all of the inflections for B were there, and we'll also look at. I assume this is just A, which was number 5. So let's look at that. Yeah, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And yeah, there's 8 here too. So that looks like it's working the way it's supposed to be. So we have a list of all inflections and what their rank is going to be. So I'm fairly happy with that. Um, oh, actually, though, hmm, could I have multiple? Could I have multiple? Could I have duplicates? Vulnerability series denoting duplicate rows. Considering certain columns as optional. Okay, so let's look at if we have any duplicated inflections. So I'm hoping we don't. So we have 19. Okay. Hmm. What are duplicates? Not what I meant to do. Hmm. So God is a okay. Let's look at that. Forms rank df inflection was equals dot once. $92 and $548. Okay. Hmm. 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 Why do we have duplicates here? Confused. Glennet, anybody have I'm not sure how many people are actually watching, but Glennet, do you have any ideas on how many people or how many duplicates we might have? Or why we might have duplicates? Kind of confused here. I dropped duplicated inflections, right? So lemma forms df. Let me look at this drop duplicate function real quick. Returns data frame with duplicated rows removed, considering certain columns as optional. Indexes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to think about that some more. I'm a little lost as to why that's an issue here. But okay, I think we've been doing this for an hour, and I think for my first one, that's probably good. We can pick it back up here next time to see why we're getting duplicates. And well, I'm hoping it's not an issue of case because we've lowercased everything, right? So we lowercase the lemmas, we lowercase the inflections. We joined on lowercase lemmas, so I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I think we're gonna have to I'm gonna have to think about this some more and probably get back to it next time. It's 2 a.m. So I think that's probably a good spot to stop and get to bed and or if not get to bed, at least a good spot to stop. My brain is starting to hurt. So uh, whoever's here, thanks for joining. Glenn, thanks for watching. If you have any critique or you have any comments, please let me know. And otherwise, I will see you guys next time. I'm hoping to do this semi regularly, at least while we have this project going. So anyway, thanks again. See ya.